Alright, so I know today's video is going up a little bit later than usual, but a moral of the day is do not click random links you get from your friends on Discord because they might be compromised. So I have been doing a lot of that today, but I did still want to put a video out, and I did notice that I have been playing around with the double Skadi system with Morgan of all characters, so I kind of just wanted to talk and show that off in this video because I just think it's really neat. Too many times when we're playing this game do a lot of players get very caught up in, oh, I gotta do like double Castoria and then maybe get a little spicy, plugs it in an Oberon, or do double Koyanskaya, plugs it in an Oberon. I gotta do double Skadi, plugs it in an Oberon, or plugs it in a Caster Skadi, or something along those lines. And this is a really fun run that I was having, and I've done a couple others that you'll see that don't just feature Morgan in this video. The last one I think is Lancelot, or the second one is Lancelot. The last one is just a bit for fun because I found an NP5 Kukulkan on my friends list, so I thought I would show that one off. But hopefully by the end of this video, you know, you're a little bit more inspired that whenever we do get these 90++ nodes, especially these ones that are only 2 waves, you know, it inspires you to go out and look at your box and be like, you know, maybe I don't have to use the normal lineups, you know, because for this one, Morgan's the one that I gave my special chocolate to, so of course I want to use her. She's getting 50% bonus bond, and every bond level over 10 is 30 Sanquarts. That's a lot of Sanquarts that I'm going to be throwing towards Tiamat or Draco. Still really haven't decided who I'm going to try to NP5 and who's going to get NP1'd. But every single multi is going to matter when we have 2 banger servants coming back to back, and especially when there is the obligatory Morgan 3 that's coming out for anniversary, and you know I'm gonna have to NP5 that one. So trying to collect all these quartz is just really nice. Plus, you also just want to use the characters that you really like, right? I mean, there are people that will go out of their ways that, hey, Talaloc's not a banger S-tier servant, but you still want to use her because you really like her, right? So you want to try to make them work. You know, you get weird setups like this. So the general game theory for the double ruler Skadi plus Morgan is just that you do enough damage with your NP to soften up the enemies to finish them off with almost any one of Morgan's crit cards. I mean, the Buster cards are obviously going to hit like a freight train because we're also using Koyanskaya just to get the extra Buster damage, just to ensure that we take out the enemies on wave 1, because I still think it's fine if you're 3-turning this node. I know a lot of people will see, oh, there's only 2 waves, so I have to min-turn it every time. If you're doing it in 3 turns, I think it's still fine. So it's just to ensure that we can do a 2-turn clear, but you know, if you don't have Koyanskaya and you need to rely on some face cards for the first wave, that's perfectly fine. But the nice thing for this is that you're getting enough of a buff from the Skadis for your quick cards so that your quick cards will also take out the enemy. Like if you fire an NP and you're not using Black Grail, you can use the quick card on the Morgan follow-up to take out that demon on the first node, which leaves you in a really interesting spot where pretty much any of the follow-up cards that Morgan gets, aside from her arts cards, are able to finish off the enemies. The only thing that kind of sucks about that is that Morgan is not a traditional berserker. She's built really normally, so she's rocking double Buster 1 quick card, which does mean that sometimes you don't want to see the arts card normally, where it's really good in challenge quests and stuff, but here don't really want to see it. But because you're not maybe gunning to do a 3rd NP, you can also just use some of the battery on one of the ruler Skadi since you're plug sitting them out anyway. You can use Morgan to overcharge the ruler Skadi that you're bringing to give her extra lawful damage against the Janako on the 3rd wave. So not only is she super effective because she's a ruler, but she's also going behind Morgan getting double overcharge because 2nd in the NP chain, but also Morgan gives everybody overcharge on her NP as an effect. So it does lead to some really interesting results where you kind of just need one of Morgan's cards. And if you get really unlucky and you do find the arts card, you can always just probably finish Janako off on like the next follow-up turn, unless she uses the invincibility skill. I've had a few dead runs. Most of them have been fine. I mean, we were streaming, I think like last week or Monday or something like that, and pretty much like the entire 2-3 hours we were streaming, we didn't have a single dead run. But then as soon as I sat down to record the gameplay for this video, we got a couple of really bad ones. Didn't show any of them in the video because I want to show you what a successful run looks like. But it's just something to be aware of. Someone that I thought that might be able to help out with us a little bit would be someone like maybe Proto Merlin. I don't have her on NA, so I couldn't really test it, but she does give you additional overcharge, and she does just give you 100% crit damage for that turn, so that might alleviate the arts card not hitting as hard because you're just getting general crit damage and a large arts buff to go with that. I think you'd have to be a little bit more stingy on your card buffs, like the battery ones, because you might not have enough to get both Ruler Skadi's NP and the follow-up Morgan NP. Kind of depends on what your starting charge CEs are like, because obviously I think the biggest thing to take advantage of in this event is the fact that everybody starts at max gauge. You can just use Black Grail in this event for whoever you favorited, whether it be somebody like a Talalak, a Morgan, an Arjuna Altar, a Archetype Earth, whoever have you, whoever you're going to be using. I think Black Grail is like super easy to take advantage of in this event, because while it might not be as efficient going for like the point ladder or for going for lotto shop stuff, in my experience farming these events, you're always going to finish the shop before you do like the ladder or the point rewards, because those always take a minute and a half to get done. And by that point, wouldn't you just rather things be a little bit more convenient than saving on like 6 extra runs by the time that all things are said? And it's not literally 6 runs. The people that are like super min-maxers are going to be the comments being like, no, CTL, it's like 20 runs that I save on. But at a certain point, I'm like, dude, I'll get more runs in with my Morgan while she has the 50% bond up. Some could argue that that's more efficient if you're going for the bond farming. More runs equals more bond equals more Sancords, technically. At the end of the day, I'm always a huge proponent of just kind of play the game how you want it. If you want to use Black Grail and it's like a little bit less efficient, I mean, who really cares? It's your account, it's your gacha game. If you want to be a little less inefficient because you want to use your Morgan and get some extra runs in, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to tell you it's the most efficient thing to do, because I'm not going to lie, but I am going to say like, hey, there's some upsides to it, right? More bond farming. Because realistically, even if I did finish the ladder and I did finish the shop, I probably would still be hitting the event, just because 50% bond bonus is ridiculous, dude. Like, that's insane. Even now on JP, we're kind of getting to those levels with the new bond CEs that we've gotten. They give you like 20% if you're a caster, a rider, lawful good, and I think the last one is beast characteristic. It's like the Koyanskaya one, but that's kind of besides the point. Look, getting 50% bond is ludicrous, right? Just for free at baseline value, it's ridiculous. So if I want to use my Morgan for a little bit longer, I'm going to use my Morgan. And I mean, you'll even see in the last run, which should be popping up kind of around now in the video if my recording times are lining up with the gameplay, but even just bringing like some big Kukulkan, and for this one I dropped the Koyanskaya for the Oberon just to get a little bit more value on the Black Girl we're bringing for Morgan, because Morgan doesn't have any power mods on Janaka over there, so she's kind of hitting like a wet paper towel. So we're going to try to min-max the damage we're doing with her. If you're going to ask, well, why don't we just give the third skill from Oberon onto Kukulkan over there? Because Morgan does have the Black Grail, she's getting more out of it than Cuckoo is getting. Cuckoo has the 1 NP damage buff, whereas Morgan is not only going to have Black Grail, but plus all the other buffs that everybody else is also giving her. So it's just better for overclocking her damage. Plus she's a berserker, so she's also super effective. I just find it to be a little bit more prudent to use, I suppose. And then you can also just stick Ruler Skadi at the very end, and look at that, with like no buffs on her, she's able to take out that Janako. So I just wanted to do a short little video just kind of showing off some gameplay that I thought was really neat, some stuff that was cool. It's a little bit more of a low-end FGO video, no, nothing like super important. We'll get back into like the low star legends, and we'll keep up with the news and stuff as they start dropping stuff. But I just thought it was a neat little setup that I had going. I posted it on the Twitter and was like, you know, this would actually be kind of interesting to do. I'm kind of sad that I didn't do it in the 90++ farming guide, because I just now started doing it, because I was like, how do I use Ruler Skadi to save my Castoria, Oberon, and Koyanskaya's bond, because they're all over bond 10, so I don't want them to hit bond 15 too quickly, so I gotta start using Ruler Skadi. And I was like, dude, Ruler Skadi can make Morgan really nuts. Like, you know, she's getting the buster buff, the attack buff, extra battery, guaranteed stars so she can crit, and then Ruler Skadi can actually do like a non-zero amount of damage. Look, if you can find an NP5 or like even an NP3 Ruler Skadi on your friends list and they have the event CE maximum broken, that boy's a keeper, right? You want to get that guy on those runs. Those runs are a lot smoother. Those are definitely down to like if you find the quick or the buster card, it's usually just going to be fine instead of just kind of needing the buster card. But just wanted to make a little video, just wanted to kind of make this kind of yap a little bit, talk about some setups that I've been running as FGO is kind of in a slower period right now. But I guess in the comment section down below, you can let me know what the most, I guess, fun CE or little run that you're doing. I almost said CE run. I'm still got this craft essence video on the mind from yesterday, but you can let me know what your fun runs that you're running are. And I really enjoy these type of events where you can kind of just break out a bunch of different things. There's obviously going to be some extremely viable ways to go about it. It's like, if you use this setup, you know, this is the most optimal way to do it. But with a lot of these like 2-turn ones, there's kind of just a bunch of different ways you can go about doing it. And there's a lot of servants that become a lot more viable because they don't need to loop all 3 nodes, especially when you can start off with 100 to 300% of your NP charge. That's super sick. If you want to share these with other people in the community as well, our Discord is down in the description down below, and I've been known to pop in there from time to time. There is also a Patreon exclusive chat if that is something that you're interested in. If you go sign up for the Patreon down in the description down below, not only do you get access to some Patreon exclusive content, But you could also be one of the people yelling at me in the patron exclusive chat, being like, hey man, when are you going to put out another patron exclusive video? And then I'd put out a patron exclusive video. But with all that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have yourselves a nice one, and I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace, late guys.